And one of the goals, that we want to vet out is, when are you planning to sell? And so that's, I think, an important part of our value proposition with our customers is getting them to be succinct about that, because a lot of times people, like you said, they want to sell their business like next tomorrow, and they haven't really thought about it ahead of time.
Right.
It's been in their mind, maybe, hey, maybe I should sell, and then all of a sudden they hit the wall and they just want to get rid of it, and that's just horrible because the amount of money they're leaving on the table is gigantic.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. And when I speak with clients and I look at their financials, because that's usually the first step in our process, is, one of the things that we always tell them they need to go and get is, better cost accounting, better financial projections. And they often don't have the capacity to do that properly in-house, because when business owners, especially on the smaller company side, right? And occasionally there are exceptions. I've had a client that was probably, less than a $3 million company, and they had beautiful projections month by month. This wasn't something they created to give me to sell the business. This is something they had, ever since the person took over the company. That's just the way he ran the business. Is they had their detailed projections. They track it every single month. They ask themselves, why did we miss our projections? What can we do to get back on track? And that's the way that all companies should be run. On the flip side, we've had companies that are almost $20 million in revenue, and they have no projections. And when you ask for projections, all you get is, hey, here's the revenue. We think we'll be 10% more next year, so multiply times 1.1, and that's our number. We need like a full P&L created month by month for 12 months that shows us here's what the revenue is going to look like. As the revenue increases, you have your fixed costs that stay the same, and here's what your profit margin is going to do going forward. That's very helpful when it comes to presenting a business to a buyer, to help them understand the direction the company is going. And it's very important that the sellers use this not just to help them sell the company. And when we advise them to do this, we're not just saying this, create projections so I can do my job easier and sell the company. I want them to do this whether they choose to sell the company or not, because it's the right thing to do for running and managing the business. Is we don't want to go to buyers and say, hey, seller just created this set of projections last month, so we have something to show you. We want them to incorporate this into their day-to-day, their month-to-month management systems, and make this an integral part of running their business. I think it's extremely important because it creates a certain discipline. And then when we get to the point of selling the company and we show the buyers a set of projections, there's much more credibility, because they know this is not just some pie-in-the-sky numbers that the seller and the seller's broker put together to sell the company. This is something that's actually used as a tool. And you can go back and look at the history. Hey, here's the projection we had for last year and the year before. And we're typically within 5% of projections, 10% of projections. It establishes so much credibility.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because obviously, I think it's obvious that that is a best practice for running your business, is to have great accounting and to also, be able to forecast, be predictable in how your business is going to perform. But yet, man, so many companies don't do that, and especially smaller companies. I don't think even bigger companies do it, really.
Right.
And they sometimes they say, well, you're just doing that for yourself, or, I don't really need that. And they just don't get it, because
right.
That's how you run a proper business, really.
Right. And and it ties into everything else. You have your projections. That's one piece of the business. It ties into your overall strategy. If you have certain goals that you want to hit certain targets, you got to go recruit the staff that's necessary to achieve those revenue targets and deliver the service. And it all needs to balance out with each other. If you don't have a piece of paper you can look at and get your entire team looking at, it's going to be very difficult to achieve those targets. So yeah, and I just had a conversation with a client this week where I've suggested they come and speak with you guys and get some help, and that was exactly one of the things we talked about, is creating good projections and running your business towards hitting those targets so you can create that discipline. The other part of it is, when they want to go and raise money and they're looking for investors to come invest in the company, or they're looking for a lender to come and loan them, they need to have clean financials, because there's a lot of people that they wait till they really need money, and now I got to go in desperation, in a hurry to go and try to get investors, and you don't have proper financials you can present them, and now you're trying to do cleanup. it creates more concern for whether it's an investor or a lender. Like, hey, now you're just trying to, put a Band-Aid on the set of financials to make it look good for us. And it really shoots their credibility and makes it much more difficult to execute. You need to be able to hit print any given time and pull out a set of financials that make sense.